It may only be Wednesday, but my word, it feels a lot longer, doesn't it? In this international break, I'm not a fan of them. I'm really not. I don't think there are many fans that are. Do you know what I mean? You just, especially when you're in the rhythm. Do you know what I mean? We just had a win. I want more football from West Ham. And the last thing I want is England football. To be honest with you, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like watching England play, but I'm more of a, when it's a tournament and things like that. I just find these, these qualifiers stuff. I know we're not doing qualifying now. It's the Nations League, isn't it? Greece and Finland. But yeah, I struggle to get motivated to watch it, and get excited about it. It's just it's not a touch on West Ham, is it? And they're getting excited and getting the weekends building up and all that kind of stuff. And I think as well, because you do this channel and things as well, you analyse the games coming up and the teams you're going to be facing. You've got the press conferences. It's all that kind of stuff. It just gets a little bit more exciting. So when it comes to England and when that's gone, it just, you've got the weekend approaching. It's just a little to be too excited about. So, yeah, well, here we are. And what it also does as well, it means that the news is quite slow because obviously West Ham's a fair few players have gone away on international duty, and the players that have remained, and bear in mind, there's quite a fair few that have remained, are sort of locked away in Rush Green. So there's not a lot really going on other than just that's it. West Ham are just working behind the scenes at the moment to prepare for the Tottenham game, which I've got no problem with. Obviously, of course, I want them to be given that time. I think it's a big game for us. And considering the fact we've come off the back of a decent result, you just kind of like it sooner. And the fact Tottenham, of course, have thrown away a 2-0 lead against Brighton, which was, enjoyable to watch. So, it's a bit of a frustrating time, really, at this period. You just want to get, the games to come a bit more thick and fast. But, it is what it is. But what I wanted to do for this video was to talk about the stories that are sort of doing the rounds a little bit. And there's one in particular the club have responded to. There's a couple of others that are sort of just floating around. And first one I want to talk about is Nicholas Fulkrug. So, typical West Ham fashion, isn't it? We've got a new striker signing in. We never seem to get any luck, do we, with these strikers? But, he picked up an injury while on international duty. Another international duty, an international break, not too long ago with Germany. He scored for them while he was there, but then while in training, he picked up this Achilles injury. Now, it was interesting. When he first got this injury, the reports were that it was a 6-7 week period he was going to be out, right? And that was what we were first told, and we reported it straight away. Then the club came out and sort of filtered it through the channels that actually it was far less. They were far more optimistic about it. In fact, he was going to be possibly playing the next game. And then it feels like it's all rumbled, doesn't it? On and on and on. Oh, he might be available this weekend. No. This weekend, no. I think it was prior to the Brentford game that it was 50-50. He was going to have a late fitness test. It was likely he would be featuring. It was okay. And if he doesn't feature in that game, he'll definitely be featuring against Ipswich Town. Well, he didn't feature in neither, did he? He didn't feature at all. Really frustrating. It is really frustrating because we want to get him playing, want to get him off the marks, get the feeling that once he gets that first goal, couple of goals, he'll be up and running and we might have a real decent player in our hands, but we just haven't had the chance to really see him. So very annoying. Now, the sort of rumours that are sort of now doing the rounds are that the injury is worse than first feared. He might need surgery. Now, this hasn't come from anyone in particular. We haven't had this confirmed by ex-WH employees. So I'm really trying not to take too much notice of it. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I'm really sort of thinking, my feeling is he'll be back for the Tottenham game. I'm going to go with what we originally said. He'll be back after the international break. Tottenham game on the 19th of October. That's when he'll be coming back. So I haven't heard anything else other than that. So, but I've got to be honest. So the reason I'm talking about it is because it would just be so typical, wouldn't it? It would be so bloody typical that he would now need surgery or something like that. You could just see, it would not surprise me. But as I say, it's not come from anywhere sort of official at the moment. So I'm going to try not to take too much notice of it at the moment. But yeah, that's certainly a story that's sort of doing the rounds a little bit on the rumour mill. The other one is Mohamed Kudus. I don't know what it is with Liverpool and this Mo Salah position where it feels like it must be a West Ham player that replaces him. I don't know why that is the case, because we've just had about 2 years of it non-stop of Jarrod Bowen will be going to Liverpool. He's the one that's likely to be replacing Salah when he goes. Bowen's going to Liverpool. Klopp loves Bowen and all this. It was all constant talk about it. It felt every transfer window we had to sort of deal with the fact that Liverpool were heavily linked with Bowen. Of course, Jurgen Klopp thankfully is gone, so that with that, as so is that story. And of course, Jared Bowen has signed a long-term contract at West Ham. Brilliant. Really pleased about that. That's all great. And now it's Mohamed Kudus. Now, Kudus is now the one that's going to be replacing Salah. He's the top of their list. And that's, again, the next story that's now doing the rounds at the moment and we're having to deal with. Now, Fabrizio Romano has commented on this. He has made a comment on this story and said that nothing is concrete on Liverpool liking Mohamed Kudus just now. I don't really know what that means exactly, but it's nothing concrete in it. Liverpool are exploring the market. They're looking at other players, and also they're exploring a deal for Mo Salah to stay at Liverpool. I hope that happens. I'd rather that, really, because it just puts it to bed, doesn't it? I've always had a bit of a funny thing with this Kudus thing because I think it was always kind of felt that it was a short-term deal that Kudus would come to West Ham. If you remember, there was talk that he would go to Brighton, and they weren't very keen on the Kudus deal because it was only going to be short-term. That was kind of the rumour when we got him. I've never really subscribed to it. I just haven't. I'm not suggesting that we won't sell him in the summer. It might well be because of the financial situation that we might need to, i.e. if we want to have another spend out, we might have to sell a player to do that. And look, that's not just West Ham. Most other clubs have to do that, especially with these regulations now. It's made life very, very difficult. I think even big clubs are feeling that they might have to be doing that. But having said that, with what's happening with Man City at the moment, could things be changing? Don't know. But I always feel that this release clause, this £85 million release clause that's sort of hanging over us at the moment, I've never really bought into the fact that that means he's definitely going to go for £85 million and clubs are going to be diving in for him. Because let's get it straight, £85 million is still a lot of money. There's not many clubs out there that can throw £85 million at a player. There isn't many, but clubs can do that. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but there's not many that can do it. Especially when you consider, like I've said, all these regulations and restrictions on what you can spend. There's not many clubs that can go, yeah, well, we've got £100 million aside for one player. So I don't see it as absolute gospel that it'll be going. And the talk that comes out of West Ham is very much that it's not the case. West Ham aren't interested in selling, etc., etc. But it remains to be seen. But again, Liverpool are linked. And let's be honest, if Mo Salah does leave Liverpool, Kudus is kind of an obvious, in my eyes, as being on the list. Not saying that as a definite they will go for him, but someone that they would consider. Premier League experience, he can play well on the right, and a great finisher. He ticks a lot of boxes, so I do get it. But my feeling is that it's just not definite. I don't get that feeling of, well, it's inevitable he's going to be going to Liverpool or he's going to be definitely being sold. I just don't see it. £85 million to me is a lot of money. And it would still be great business by West Ham. If West Ham got £85 million for Kudus, that's still very good business considering what we bought him for. What's that, 35 million profit? So it maybe even more. So I think it's a good deal all round. But I'm not buying into this, that it's definite he will be going in the summer. And it just annoys me that, again, it's Liverpool. It just feels like it's a West Ham player that seems to be getting linked to replacing Mo Salah when he does leave Liverpool. If he does, of course, they are in talks to try and get him to sign a new deal. So that's what's going on with that one. Now, the other one is the takeover stuff. Always feels like it's a story that's lingering, doesn't it, with West Ham and this constant talk of a potential takeover. We've talked about it enough on this channel. We had strong links, haven't we, with Saudi interest previously. We've had so much, obviously, Daniel Krasinski as well, being rumoured to wanting a full takeover of the club. All these things that keep happening. And now Keith Wyness, who was a shareholder at Everton, has now spoken. He's spoken to Football Insider, and it's kind of sparked a bit of a story. And I get the impression that the story's been sparked more because it's international break and there's not a lot going on, and it just gets blown up a bit bigger than what it actually is. So Keith Wyness basically said that West Ham are likely to be next to be sold. I go for a full takeover, and he said, I believe the discussion's already ongoing. Now, what's interesting about this one is that West Ham have had to basically deny this, come out officially and respond to it. And this has come from Claren Hugh this morning. This has come from Sean Whetstone. So this is what he's now said on this. So this has come from one of the sources. I'm just going to it now. He has said, this has come from the top source, right, at the club. They've said, Daniel Krasinski has no exclusive put and call option on other West Ham shares that no other shareholders have access to. Now, I believe that to be sort of like a fixed price, a fixed rate agreement that he could have that. They said that's absolutely not true, because that was the talk that Kretinsky might be doing a full takeover. It then says if and when the Gold family sell their shares, we all have matching rights pro rata to our existing shareholder structure. The recent article about a West Ham takeover is made up and it's quite unsettling for the club, its players and staff. There are no discussions. So I think we know that's come from, in terms of those words, from the very, very top. I mean, interesting. Nothing really too new there. I always do feel that West Ham are an attractive club. I still feel we are in that sort of top bracket now, that if there is going to be someone looking to buy a Premier League club, West Ham would be an option, certainly. And there's no reason why I certainly don't change that opinion. I just don't feel like there doesn't seem to be much desire, does there, from the club to sell at this stage. I do think there is a price. There's no two ways about it from all the shareholders, including Kretinsky, Sullivan. Of course, there is a price. We know that the Gold family are looking to sell part of their shares. It feels like at the moment that's been unsuccessful to date, but they're still looking. Things will happen at West Ham, I'm sure of it, but it just feels like nothing's really imminent, does it, at this stage? But I just find the interesting part about how it's unsettling the club. I said in a recent article, it's quite unsettling for the club, its players and staff. I mean, I'm going to try and take that a little bit loose, a little bit. I'm not quite sure I get that. I mean, all right, maybe they find it because they don't like being questioned about it. Maybe that's the unsettling thing. You know, you're getting queried wherever you go about what's going on with the sale. But I don't know how it affects players. I'm sure the players take pretty much no notice of that, really, other than as much as we do. I mean, we've had enough, haven't we, of this sort of takeover stuff rumbling for so long now that you kind of, I take it with a pinch of salt until I see something actually happen, and I'll take notice of it then. But yeah, it is interesting. There's a few bits lingering around at the moment. The big thing for me really is what's going on the pitch, obviously, and like it is for all of us. It's, you know, we've come off the back of a big win against Ipswich. We're going into face Tottenham when we come back from international break, which is on Saturday the 19th, early kickoff. I mean, it's a big game for us, and a bad time now because I want to play them soon, because they've just obviously lost to Brighton, having been 2-0 up. I just hope that West Ham take full advantage of this time. Lopetegui has now got real opportunity, you feel, in his hands, because of the fact that he's got players left behind. He's got work with them at Rush Green. We're talking Jared Bowen. He's got Todibo, Kilman. He's got Somerville. I mean, he's got some, Soler. He's got some big players there to work with. So I'm really hoping we see a really well-organised and more confident West Ham when we do travel to North London in a week or so's time. But yeah, look, that's the stories that are doing the rounds at the moment. Anything else we'll come back to. Obviously, XWHU employee will provide more of an update on what's really happening, and we can kind of clarify those. But yeah, talks of a takeover, yeah, still seem quite a way off, don't they? Come on, you ones.